Right, this is the Janoel 10 incubator. This one here is the UK version, 220 to 240 volts. And what we'll do today is we'll have a quick look at it. We'll see how it's made, what it's made of, what it does, and then at the end I will show you what we use it for. Okay, so it comes in three main parts. You've got this bit, which is the top bit, the lid, which has got the control panel, which we'll have a look at in just a minute. Underneath of that, it's got the grid. Now this is a forced air manual turn incubator. And basically what that means is that you manually have to turn the eggs that are in there, and inside there is a fan, believe it or not, hiding underneath there. I'm not sure how effective it is because of having all of this grid over the top of it, but it seems to work okay. And if you look really closely, you can see just along there is a white line. See it come into view there, it goes out of view, that goes all the way around, and that is the heating element. That's the part that heats it up. So yeah, so you got this bit, the top bit. This bit measures the temperature. That's all that this one does measure. It doesn't do any kind of like humidity or anything else like that. You then have this plastic ring that goes around the side, and then the final part is the base, which is this bit here. Again, it's made of plastic. Ours has got a little grid in the middle over where you would put the water, and a little foam ring. Foam ring is so that you've got somewhere soft to place your eggs on, and when your chicks hatch out, they aren't going to slip and slide all over the place. As you can see on the bottom piece, it's got drainage holes in each of the corners, because they aim that you're going to put the water in there rather than putting the water into here. So what you would do normally with this is you place your eggs in around it. Actually, I'll just grab some eggs. Okay, so now we've got some eggs. You just place your eggs in. As you can see, that's a mix of the chicken eggs, which just come out of our layers flock. If we was to use the bantam eggs, they're obviously much smaller, and you would obviously be able to get many more in. Well, not many more, a few more in. But that is 10 ordinary, regular chicken eggs. And if you compare that up to the duck eggs, you might get away with 8, maybe 7. So yeah, so you place the eggs in, you put some water into there, put that on, put that, and then that like that, and then you would plug it in. It takes one of the figure of 8 IEC leads, which is one of these ones here, and you would plug it in and you'd leave it. Now the good thing with this is it's got this massive clear panel all the way around, so you can view and you can see what's going on. If you need to rotate it round, you can do that without even having to open it up. You just hold onto the top bit and you just twist the bottom bit. That is a cracking feature of this one, which you don't get with a lot of other ones. So if you're in any kind of like an educational, or if you're really interested and you've got small kids and they want to see what's going on, you can just rotate it around and have a look to see what's happening anywhere else. That, unfortunately, is pretty much where the good stuff ends. You then move into the bad stuff. Now, if we start off with the construction of it, it's made of plastic all the way throughout, and it leaks heat like a sieve. If you place it in a room which is slightly cold, it can't keep up to maintain the heat. We have one of these little things that whenever we use it, we place inside, and we find that if the temperature in the room drops below 10 degrees C, it can't keep up. It just can't maintain the heat in there to be able to bring them up. We then find if we cover it up and the temperature in the room goes above 18, 20 degrees, it then starts overheating and you end up cooking your eggs. So it isn't the type of incubator you want to put outside in a shed, in a workroom, anywhere else like that. You want to keep it in a place, in a room, where the temperature is maintained pretty much between 12 and 16 degrees if you can. Otherwise, get yourself one of these and you just have to constantly keep a check on it, because they are a nightmare to maintain the temperature the whole time throughout. I'm not sure if getting rid of this grid and allowing the fan to actually blow its heat straight down would make any difference. I have heard of a few people doing it, but obviously I haven't done it with this one. If I can get hold of a spare one, then I will do, and I'll see if that makes a difference. But with this wide open area of plastic, that is just going to allow heat just to pour out, and if you're in a cold room, it's going to allow even more to pour out. The other issue you're going to face there as well, because that's blowing straight down to the middle, you're going to end up with it being warm in the middle here, but then obviously it's going to be cooler out on the sides, so your eggs are going to be slightly different. The other thing is, if you know these incubators at all, you will know that the settings for them are an absolute nightmare. So I'll just grow out these eggs and then we'll take a look at the settings. Okay, so we'll take a look at the settings for it now. We've got it switched on. You can see it's warming up. Actually, I don't need to hold it like that. So can we get it to sit there? There we go. So you can see that the work light has come on, and that means that it's working, and it means that it is heating up. When the work light goes off, the fan still runs, but it will only turn on the work light when it's warming up and when there's actually heat going through the element inside. So what we do is we press and hold the set button for 3 seconds. That hasn't done it, so we'll try again. And there we go. So we've got HU, HD, LS, HS, CA, AH, AL, and then we're back around to HU. So HU, this is the heating up one. So if we press set on that, it's set to 35 degrees C. So if the incubator goes under 35, it's going to heat up. Heat down is set to 40, which means it won't ever go over 40 and still be heating, if you understand that, because I struggle with these. So LS is the lower limit, which is currently set to 30, and HS, which is the upper limit, is set to 39.5. So it's meant to maintain the temperature between those two. You've then got CA, which is the calibration. So if, for example, the temperature that we've got it rigged up to on here, if that isn't being read on there, right, so say this here is set to 37.5, and this one here is reading in there, oops, sorry, this one here is reading inside as being 38.5, then we would know the calibration is 1 degree out. So you would then reset the calibration, which is okay if you're in a place which has got a constant outside and like temperature, but as soon as you move to a place with a variable temperature, you will find that you'll rig it all up, you'll get it all perfect, and then overnight, when the temperature cools down a bit, it will all go wrong for you. So I'll explain what we do with this in a minute. So let me just go through the last two on here. So you can see AH is alarm high and alarm low. These are set by the factory and you're not meant to be able to change them, but you can. The alarms on this are just a flashing thing on the screen, so don't really worry about it. Okay, so then if we just leave it for a few seconds, it will flick back to the start, and there we go. So that's measuring the current temperature in there, and if we just press set, you can see that's the temperature we're aiming for, and we can up it and we can down it. but that is just done by just one little quick press on set, and you can then set your desired temperature. So with everything I've just said, explaining it all, trying to explain it all, you can take all that and you can chuck it all out the window, because the best thing you can do with these, honestly, is you can set them up however you want to, put it on the side, set the temperature on there, and then get yourself one of these and place it in. Do not read your temperatures off there, because as soon as it gets up to temperature, we found that it just displays the same temperature the whole time. So it will display like 37.5 the whole time, and then you don't actually know what the actual temperature in there is. So you use one of these to get the actual temperature within there. Hope that makes sense. You can then use this to adjust up here. So if you know it's getting up to night time, this is saying that it's cooling down in there, so you then adjust the temperature up on here. In the morning it's warm, you can adjust the temperature down. It's a pain in the butt, it's not the greatest of things to be able to do it, but these as incubators, they are cheap as chips. We paid 14 quid for this one second hand, and you get what you pay for basically at the end of the day. You have to watch it, you have to set it properly and right, or else you just aren't going to end up with any eggs. So I hope that makes sense. What I'll do now is I'll flip over to a little bit we've recorded about how we use this, because as far as I can see there is only one way that you can use it. If you use it as a manual incubator, then 3 times a day, twice a day, whatever, you're having to lift off that great big piece, leaving that bit all exposed, and then you're turning your egg, so you're losing all of your humidity, you're losing all of your heat, you're then having to place it back on, and it takes an age for it to warm up again and go over it. So yeah, I'll flip over now to what we use it for, and you can see, so it does work, it does hatch chicks, but I don't recommend it, to be honest with you. Thanks for watching. Here's us hatching some chicks. And this is what we use it for. When the eggs go into lockdown, it's ideal just to place the eggs into to keep them over the 3 days of the lockdown for the chicks to hatch out of them. As you can see, there's 2 which are at the very and like front of it there, but there's another 2 at the back, and I wouldn't want to get more than 6 in there, because then I think it would get a little bit crowded for them all. But as it's got this big clear area, it's ideal to be able to watch them hatch, and also, as we was explaining, to be able to turn it around to look at all of the other eggs and see what the other eggs are doing. So you can see at the back here we've got another 2 chicks, but then these other 2 always like to be at the front looking and seeing what's going on. I wouldn't use it to incubate eggs from start to the finish, purely because it doesn't hold the temperature well enough when it's open, so just leave it like that, and it works out okay.